People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in each and every time. Like, you lot know me, I bring out a lot of content, but I'm pretty sure this week in particular there's been less content. After that result on Thursday, there's been less content. I hope you lot forgive me, I just simply haven't been in the mood, man. Like, what's all this, man? I don't know you, man. Why, bro, who keeps selling my details, my data, and giving them to them beaky numbers, man? That don't even, you know, you're getting calls from Southampton and that. What fun for that? Moving forward, that result, I just had a feeling of emptiness, people. Like, I'm struggling. Like, I met a lot of people on the train and that saying, yo, I'll go on DG and that. Thank you for the love. But they're asking me how I feel about the result. I can't put into words. I just feel emptiness, people. I feel homeless. Like, it just emptiness. Like, I can't put into words, man. Like, for me, what made me mad is, listen, the number one unwritten rule that I live by in football, in life, but in football specifically, do not effing underestimate your opponent. I'm not saying we went out there with the swagger that we're better than them, but what I mean by that is we were behaving like we wrapped this tie up in the first leg, we were winning 5-0, and we were behaving like it's a group stage game against Bate Borisov or whatever, who I believe beat us once upon a time, ironically, a couple of years ago. Arrogance. We've shown we've bottled it. We've improved at game management and all of these things, game by game in the Prem. But when it matters, when the heat is on, we've shown we failed to do this thing. Listen, Aubameyang. Listen, it broke my heart to see Aubameyang on the pitch after and him being close to tears. Aubameyang, don't you dare blame yourself. If you blame yourself, Arsenal fans, when we next see Aubameyang, we've got to rush him. Because I'm not having that. Aubameyang, this result is not on you. It's everyone played a part, it's not on you. Who scored the effing goal, that volley thing, to get us through in the first place? As a team, we failed to manage out properly. Luiz and Socrates, if I remember correctly, unaware for the second goal. Leno doing nonsense. Collective team moving mad. If we managed out the game, that miss again, ifs and buts don't win football matches. The facts are, Aubameyang did miss, and we are out. But if we manage the game properly, we could be laughing about that. So Aubameyang, don't you dare blame yourself, place that burden on your shoulders. I know you're an extremely professional athlete. You're a talisman just because you score goals, and obviously being captain and being one of the most high-profile players. And being one of the players, I think everyone gets it, but when I see Aubameyang, he seems one of them players that really get it as a player to the fans. So I know he feels it harder than everyone, but don't you dare blame yourself. How many times have you pulled through, not just in the league, but in Europa for us, generally? There's not been too many times you've let us down. You're human and you've pulled through. Don't you dare blame yourself, my guy. Don't you dare blame yourself. Hope you stay, but if I was you, I'd keep it moving, man. I'd really keep it moving. But moving back to the game in general, it was arrogance, man. Game management, not killing off ties, underperforming players, people not being galvanised enough is what it is. Pardon me, I'm a big fan of Arteta. In the 13, 14 games Arteta's played, there's only been about 2 games where I think we've looked at this game where we went out in the Europa League. We're like, yo, why didn't you bring on the subs quicker? Why did Bellerin start? He's not been in good form. And we can, you know, Lacazette, and we can do other things and talk about other things. Was it Burnley? It could have been the Burnley 0-0 draw, but I'm sure there's a Premier League game, I said in my review, and we was all talking about how Arteta's lineup weren't the best. He makes mistakes. I think he took too long to bring on the subs and he showed his inexperience. But he's going to go through these periods. I still back Arteta. But it's an L for everybody. It's an L. It's an L. It is what it is. We cannot feel sorry for ourselves. It's done now. Feeling sorry for ourselves is not going to put us in the Europa League. Is it a meal ticket into the Champs? Yes. Is it Europa League for another season? Potentially, yes. If I'm saying potentially to be nice for the fans with hope. And the players have themselves to blame. You listen, again, when Arteta has his first pre-season, any players that are still here, remember how it felt to be in the Europa League and get smacked up 4-1 in that final. Remember how it felt to underperform against Olympiacos, underestimate them and go out and have these question marks asked of you. Remember how these things felt. Remember the numerous negative results in the league and potentially missing out on 4th or 5th. Remember how these things felt and use that to drive you next season, because wise men learn from their mistakes, and we've been doing this, people. All the good form and the unbeaten run prior and all these things, it still holds weight, but it means nothing if you're not going to do this thing in crucial periods, people. And there's a lot of uncertainty, whether it's ability, contracts and things. We need to get our act together. We really need to get our act together as a club, people. We need to fix up. really need to fix up. And this is what I'm talking about. Obviously, I don't want to sound too reactionary, but there's only so much Arteta can do. Even if he gets the club playing well, we've got to move on a collective. And I'm looking at the people above him now. I need to see what you're doing in the summer, really, really and truly, because there's a lot of things, and our pockets are starting to get hurt now just by looking. People, look at this. Sorry, let me go right to the top. Firstly, allegedly, Arsenal fans are due a rebate from the club after last night's loss to Olympiacos, as they will not get 7 home cup games with a season ticket this year. This could end up costing the club over £4.5 million. However, if we beat Portsmouth and Arsenal getting a home quarter-final in the FA Cup would mean fans get a 6th cup game. Yarabel Cups don't count towards 7. So yeah, man, it's in the balance essentially. But either way, it's still poor. And me keeping up with that sort of stuff, people, Arsenal face the possibility of paying out. Oh, sorry, that's the same thing, people. But there's one where we lost P's. There's actually, I need to find it, people. There's an article where we're starting to, as a club, we're losing P's now. Like, we've made the first loss since I believe 2002. Sorry. I should really have all of this to hand. But the one I can find, Sir Keswick has said, for the 2019-20 season, we will see increased commercial revenue from Adidas and our renewed deal with Emirates. But another season outside the Champions League, apologies people, will... Where's my tissues? I have to hold it up. But another season outside the Champions League will continue to apply pressure to our financial results. Going down through Charles's Watts page, where he's normally very good at this Arsenal sort of news stuff. Yeah, like I said, people, our first overall loss since 2002 out of the Europa League. And moving away from that, Arsenal Group have announced a loss of the 2018-19 year after tax of 27.1 million. In 2018, the profit was 56.5 million, mainly due to 122.3 million worth of player sales. In 2018-19, player sales generated just 16.8 million. Sir Chips Keswick said as well, our player trading profit for this financial year was limited, and this combined with a second successive season of Europa League football has meant the club has recorded its first overall loss since 2002. So if people around the club don't necessarily care about the football, when it starts hurting pennies and the pockets, that's when they pay attention. And you're looking at one certain man at the top. He's, as much as I want the Kroenkes to depart this club, they're not alone, people. We can't just blame Kroenke for everything and the Kroenke Group for everything. The overall winning mentality, or failing to have a winning mentality, comes from the man up the stairs. But I'm really looking at Raul Sanllehi and Vinay now, because there's uncertainty over players' contracts. You know, we need to get a move. We need to get a move on, people. Like it's getting real out here. Like, we're losing peace, bro. Like, not that even. It's not my piece. So I don't care. But I'm not one of these fans that gets gassed and excited with finances and stuff, because it's not my piece. Like, I shouldn't have to speak about that as a fan. I'm just going to the game. But you get what I'm saying. It's disgraceful, people, really and truly. Away from that, though, Mesut Ozil's agent has said, I need to look at every option. I need to maximise and get the best contract for him. The options are coming in now. Maybe he'll stay and have a new contract with Arsenal. Now, he said a couple of things, but obviously Ozil's contract is running up. Will he get Arteta's using him? I don't think we should, but will he extend his contract? Ozil's been a terrific footballer, not just for Arsenal, but in general. And again, certain people might get hung up on the terrific term, but again, he's past it by his own standards. His age isn't on the right side. It's not like an Aubameyang thing where if you was to look at Aubameyang's age, it would, to a degree, some people might be worried, but pure application, you can't say anything. Ozil, would we miss him? You could say yes, because we ain't got a creative player, but I don't think we would, and because of his age, he needs to keep it moving. And his agent is playing coy. He's keeping the possibility open to staying at Arsenal for his duration of his contract, which is 2021, but extending that. Obviously, Ozil's been linked with Fenerbahce and a lot of Turkish teams because of his ancestry. There's also the MLS sort of stuff, and Ozil's never going to go China after his comments. But, yeah. In in relation to Arsenal's win percentages, people, Arsenal's win percentage with Alexandre Lacazette starting this season is 26%. Without him in the starting lineup, it's been 50%. And I mean, Martinelli did more in 30 seconds than Lacazette did. I mean, I'm a fan of Lacazette, but the form, you can't defend this form. Like, how has he declined so much? And I'm starting to think, has he peaked? Like, has he peaked? Is this as good as Lacazette's got? Is it potentially time to move him on? I hope he gets his mojo back, but contracted until 2022. Can we get 30, 40 million, take a couple million loss? If we can't, break even, keep it moving, slap that on a winger. You know, Martinelli and Aubameyang, if he's still here, can do a job up front for us, in addition to Eddie. If we're not going to bring in another Don, who knows? With him on the pitch, Arsenal have scored 1.3 goals for every 90 minutes, and without him, it's 1.8 goals per 90 minutes without him. Arsenal's win percentage with Mesut Ozil is 30%. Without him in the starting lineup, it's been 47%. Now, a lot of these stats are probably misconstrued because Ozil didn't really have a career at Arsenal this season until Arteta came in. So obviously a bit of that is that. But I should have mentioned this at the start. Aubameyang on his miss, he said, "I feel very bad, but that can happen. I don't know how I missed this chance. I was tired and I had some cramps, but it's not an excuse. I have to score this goal. Keep your head up, Aubameyang." In relation to Arteta, he said, "It hurts a lot. We had a lot of intentions in this competition. It was very important for us. Emotionally, it's been a very difficult game." And to be honest, Arteta, our players play for Arsenal. If you play for a top 6 team, you should be able to keep your emotions in check. But he said, "It is cruel. It's a massive disappointment. But at the same time, I'm very proud of the players. It would have been an incredible lift if we had managed to go through this tie. The players have my backing for the way they played, but it's painful." And again, a lot of that is Arteta protecting his players. He probably learned that from Wenger. I can guarantee you, Arteta must have bollocked them in the changing rooms. But he's protecting them in the public. And obviously what he said, it is cruel, it is a massive disappointment, but at the same time, we made that tie harder than it had to be through a lack of game management. Didn't kill it in the first leg and get more away goals. Didn't see out the game or manage the game or continue the game as we should have, people. And do you know, I always tell you, lot, obviously a half is 45 minutes, but I always tell you, lot, sometimes a game, each half is a game of 4-10 minutes. Do you get it, people? Obviously there's an extra 5 smart asses, you know, they're clearly not the football duns. But we failed to win these 10-minute battles throughout the whole game. The only one I'd say we won was the first 10, purely because as a fan, I felt we started a bit better in that game than we did in the away leg. And we only have ourselves to blame. Credit to Olympiacos. Arteta said, "I want to concentrate now on lifting those players and getting back the belief and convince them there's still a lot to play for and move on. It's part of this sport that a big disappointment can happen, and it happened tonight," which was obviously Thursday. "We have to learn and react as a team and as a club." And do you know what? That's what you want to hear. It's an L. We hold our L. The whole footballing universe should laugh at us because we didn't do our job. But it is what it is. We can't cry over spilled milk. What is there to play for this season? I guess there's an FA Cup. I guess on paper, 4th and 5th, while I don't believe we can do it, it's still there. So we're not going to have any fight if we keep feeling sorry for ourselves. So we do need to go again. And that's one positive from Arteta, people, really and truly. That is one. Saying that, though, against Olympiacos, I mean, Mesut Ozil was technically involved in our goal, but statistically, Ozil and Aubameyang made the most tackles of any player that night, which was only 3, so it ain't really 9. It ain't really nothing. And I mean, Bellerin, I think Arteta's got faith in Bellerin as he should as a manager, but Bellerin needs to really, 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 really fix up, people, really. I mean, to not have produced a single shot on target in 75 minutes in that game was appalling, people. Really, really was appalling. And also, courtesy of Obino, people, statistically, in Mikel Arteta's opening 12 games, Arsenal have conceded 0.83 goals per game compared to 1.45 per match under Unai Emery. He said, this is a thread, he said, "Let's look at the shots allowed. Emery's Arsenal allowed 15.8 shots. Arteta's have only allowed 12.5. It does look like there's an improvement," but he said, "When you look deeper, Emery's team conceded 29 with an expected goals against value of 28.2. And he's also said, "Arsenal, we have shipped 10 goals. We have shipped 10 goals with an expected goals against of 16.5. I mean, in bulk of this, what this means is teams should require fewer chances to score against Arteta's team than against Emery's team, because they have been on average of higher quality, it says. Boy, that's a bit of a kick in the teeth, really and truly. Arsenal have had 7 European ties decided on away goals. They have progressed once and been knocked out 6 times on the away goals rule. Boy. No words. Arsenal have lost consecutive home games in the European campaign for the first time since 1999-2000, where we lost against Fiorentina and Barcelona. So yeah, that was also the first time we scored in extra time though, people. So let's move on. I'm trying to find Mustafi. Like, I think, where's the comments, man? I think Lee Dixon had something to say on Mustafi and it means no sense. I think he commented on Mustafi's hair. He said, Mustafi seriously needs to have a word with himself and pipe down a bit. Bang me out 25 appearances and 15 clean sheets. Then you can do what he likes with his hair and his sunglasses. Just sit back for a bit and carry on churning the results out. I mean, Lee, what has Mustafi said? One, what does... this is the funny thing. Like, English pundits seem to think doing your hair and things has something to do with your football. Like, come on now. Like, it has nothing to do with it. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but what comments has Mustafi come out and done? Like, he just said he's happy to be confident in himself again, have the fans' trust again, have the backing of Arteta again, simply playing football. So with that being said, is it a coincidence that regardless what you think about Mustafi, myself included, there's an uptake in form if a man's more confident? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's actually nonsense, and it just screams of a personal agenda against the lad. Like, don't get me wrong, regardless of form, I don't think Mustafi should be in the starting lineup beyond this season or until he drops off in form. But come on, like, leave the guy alone. Like, even yesterday on Thursday, Mustafi had his hair in a weird colour, but who was the one really who could leave that field and not have given any more prior to his injury? Mustafi. So what more do you want from the lad? Like, again, we know Mustafi's history is more negative at Arsenal than bad, and I wouldn't go as far to say he's turned over a new leaf, but you've got to give man credit where he's due. It just stinks of agendas, and this rhetoric from English pundits that if you do your hair and all of these things that you're not professional or dedicated to your craft, it makes no sense. Because I'm not here to praise Mustafi, but how Mustafi's shown incredible fight to fight back. He was alienated from the team. He had Emery publicly, and it was right at the time, publicly saying you can leave. Obviously, he's shown a good fight back to come and have a career of sorts this season. You've got to give a man credit where he's due. Can he get 15 clean sheets? Not just him, but with this team, I think it's a myth. Mustafi included, we're just not capable of doing such, and it just stinks of a personal agenda. And these English pundits really need to fix up and move with the times, really and truly, people. I don't think I've got anything more to add, so I'm just going to keep it moving. On that note, people, God bless, Deluded. I'm out.